I am live here today. It is November 2nd, and I wanted to mention the date, although when this is going to be recorded for my podcast, it's going to be later than that date. But today I'm live on Facebook, and I'm in two places. And I haven't done that before, but I have this tool, and it's so cool to be able to be on both my Not Your Average Grandma page and in my Midlife Mojo Makers group. So I'm very excited about that because guess what? Today is my latest episode of Not Your Average Lives, and today's guest is me. I am the guest today for a couple of reasons. Number one is because I've had this bad cold, and if you follow me closely, you know I've had this cold for like 6 weeks, and I am getting super tired of it. However, I am coming back to life. I've actually worked out 2 days in a row, so because I have some energy, and my voice is coming back. So I basically lost my voice pretty much. It was super rough last week, and I had to cancel one of my scheduled interviews that I was going to record. So that got rescheduled to next week. And so I thought, well, I'll just interview myself. And then I realized this is a very profound anniversary week for me, one of very huge transformation. In fact, all of my midlife transformations have happened in the fall and in either October or November, like either late October or early November. Actually, 2 out of the 3. So have actually happened. 2 out of 3 have happened the first week in October. And then the last one, last week in October. So it's really, I don't know. I don't know what it is. Change of season. I don't know. It's when I finally have the guts to do something. I don't know if it's because it's nearing the end of the year, but my 3 transformations have happened over the course of 13 years. And I'm going to go in chronological order, and I'm going to try to keep this no more than 35 minutes, 10 minutes per transformation, hopefully. But sometimes I can go on and on. So I've got my timer here. If you have questions, don't hesitate to comment. I love to engage with people. I might not be paying attention to the comments. I'll try to look at, before I get off, definitely I'll look at the comments. So please feel free to share any comments or, things that you have to say. If you are listening to the podcast at a later date, check me, come message me I'm on an Instagram, Not Your Average Grandma. I'm also on, here on Facebook on Not Your Average Grandma. So message me. I will talk to you one-on-one in messages. I love it. I love when people message me. So, all right, let's get to the first transformation. And let me check to make sure I'm coming through because, sometimes the technology gods are not with us, and we want to make sure that there I am. Oh, and I'm not a dressy up kind of girl. So if you are watching me and you have a visual, I'm wearing one of my favorite t-shirts. It says, smile often, think positively, and give thanks. This says it all. I just love it. And I get these things. The best store to get them is Kohl's. It's a really good store. You can get really cheap t-shirts there. All right. And I think Target has a lot of good ones now too. So anyways, okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to talk about my transformations. And for some reason, it doesn't look like my video is going. So bear with me. I just want to make sure it's going and people are talking. So if you are here and you are watching, can you give me a thumbs up, or can you say hello so I know that it's happening? Because if it's not, then I'm just going to have to redo it. It looks like I am live. It looks like there's 4 people maybe on. So say hello. All right. 13 years ago tomorrow was my first midlife transformation. I was 47 because I'm 60 now, and I qualify that as midlife because, if you add 47 and 47, that is, oh no, now I'm gonna have to do the math, 94. And, that's a full life. And so midlife, I think of midlife, probably 40 starts midlife because you're 80. Although our lifespan is increasing, as we get, as the technology and the medical, the the medicine and the physicians and all of the things that help us in this great country live longer. And so we're living, I fully expect, as long as I stay healthy, to live past 100. So anyways, midlife is 47. And so at 47, on November 3rd, 2006, I chose to leave a marriage that I had been in for 25 years. And that was a very, very difficult decision, and one that I did not take lightly. In fact, I was not happy for quite some time, and I stayed. A lot of reasons, but when you have invested 25 years into a relationship, it's not something that you want to leave very easily. We had, and from the outside, it looked like the perfect marriage, as many marriages do, because we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. So, and I was married to a great guy. My ex-husband is a fantastic guy, and that made it even harder because, why can't you be happy? Why can't you be happy in a relationship with a guy that is great? So, we had been through counseling through the years. So I always say to people who are unhappy, you gotta try, you gotta work at it. You got to know relationship. I think every relationship benefits from counseling. Every individual benefits from counseling. It helps you grow, and it's hard, but hard means that there's growth. When you have to work hard, the end result is usually better. If things are easy, then there's probably not a lot of growth there. So we had been married for 25 years. We had two amazing daughters who the youngest had just graduated from college. And so both of them were adults. And as you can say, not maybe necessarily completely financially launched, but for the most part, financially launched. I think I was making them pay their own cell phone bills. So that's a pretty good progression. And in fact, I think, yes, both daughters were working and living away from home. So I think for a long time I stayed because the family unit was really important to me, and my children and not being divorced was really important to me. I think the ages that we women are at, baby boomers, I think although divorce is more acceptable, and many of us maybe did experience divorce, many of us come from families where there was no divorce. So like my parents weren't divorced, his parents weren't divorced. So divorce was a very unfamiliar space in my life. And it was also kind of a bad word. And so for a long time, I felt if we divorce, I'll be miserable. I was afraid of judgment. I was afraid of ruining my children's happiness, so much. So, but I finally decided, 13 years ago, I made the decision, and it was the hardest thing I've ever done. And you think when the decision is made, it's going to be easy. No, it's the decision's made and it's turmoil, but you get to the best place possible in the not too distant future. And so, and I will say that I felt too that I wasn't happy. I voiced how unhappy I was. I tried to get things to change, but they didn't. I got to the point where I felt like, I know he's not happy. He can't be happy because it's a relationship, right? So if one person's unhappy, the other person's unhappy. And so I felt that it was my gift to him to free him from this bond that was no longer working, that to free him from, in a way, this prison that we had made, that we were trapped, and it was of our own doing, because we were free to do what we wanted. We live in a society where you are free. You're a free person. You can do whatever you want to do. And so I made the decision to, so November 3rd, 13 years ago, was the day we were legally separated. So I will say that the whole, the it was probably a week of, processing it, knowing I was going to do it, then coming and saying, this is it, and there had been like months, probably years, 3 years, I think, if I think about it, and specifically 6 months, where I was like, no, I was telling myself in my head and convincing myself to stay, but telling myself I wasn't, and I needed to do it. And so it's a process. Everything's a process, and it needs to be a process. People don't do things like overnight. It starts with this little inkling, and honestly, the inkling was years in the making. And so that was my first midlife transformation. So for anybody out there who is struggling with that decision, I get it. I know it's difficult, but I will say there is huge happiness on the other side, on both sides. And so don't be afraid to make a change. Don't be afraid. And honestly, if you do decide to do that, to say you decide to separate, it doesn't mean that it's the end. It means it's the beginning of making things better. It's the beginning of potentially making your relationship with your husband, who, you're in a rut. You're not, working, what's the word? Your engine is not running on all cylinders. Your love engine is not running on all cylinders. So I'm not saying that divorce is the goal line. I'm saying a better life is the goal line. A happier life is the goal line. A more passionate life is the goal line. And whether that's with your spouse who you're struggling with, or whether that's on your own, figuring out life on your own, and eventually finding somebody who is better, and maybe never finding somebody who's better, because, it's not always about having another person in our life, because we have to find happiness from within ourselves. And so, and the good news is that my ex-husband is married and very happy now. And so we are both, and we're still friends, and our kids are fine. They're married. We've had 2 weddings, and we've had wonderful weddings and celebrations. And, everything that I dreaded and was scared of actually never happened. It's the things that you think will happen that don't. And it's like we invent all these things in our mind, and it never, ever ended up playing out in the way that I was so worried, and what stopped me from making that decision for so long. And I look back and I think, what if I had stayed at 47, and I would be 60 now, and I would not be where I am today, and be married to the person I'm married to, and be in a relationship that is so passionate and so rewarding for me. And for my husband now, so I like to think that my children have this new person in their life who loves them, and this new whole family, and another set of grandparents. So that is my first transformation, and I'm sure I exceeded 10 minutes, but if anybody can relate, give me a comment. I'm not sure I can even see comments in this. I'm in this platform, but I will check to see. But if anybody has gone through a midlife transformation that is a love, finding love, going through a divorce, but coming out on the other side happier, I'd love to hear your comment. And if you're in the middle of it, my heart goes out to you, but I will tell you, it will get better. I promise you. Just stay positive, smile often, think positive, and always give thanks. Find the things to be grateful for, even in the midst of the turmoil, because when you think with gratitude and thankfulness, negativity can't share that same thought space. And so always be grateful and thankful. Find those things that you can be thankful for. Number 2, my second midlife transformation happened about 8 years later let me think. All right, get these dates right. This is terrible. I know it was on my granddaughter's 3rd birthday. I started an online health and fitness group, and it came at a time when I was a little bit struggling. I had my arms were getting really flabby, and that really bothered me. I was like, I have granny arms, and so it was 6 years ago is when it was. So what was that? I was 54, and I was just feeling my oldest daughter had just gotten, no, it was my youngest. Yeah. My youngest daughter, was getting married in August. And so I had lost like 6 pounds getting ready for that, but probably not doing the healthiest things. I know I was doing push-ups on my bedroom floor to get rid of these like saggy arms, bat wings, as I call them. But then my daughter got involved with Beachbody. You've probably heard of Beachbody, but Beachbody is a network marketing company, but they have, at the time, they had these DVDs, and they had these online groups on Facebook, and you could get a set of DVDs, and you could get a shake, and then you could, the shake was a nutritional, healthy drink that you could drink in the morning or in the afternoon. I actually drank it as an afternoon snack when I started. And she invited me into this online group, and like, seriously, because I've always kind of liked to exercise, but I've always procrastinated it. And so I had the gym membership at the time that I was paying for, and I wasn't going to the gym because, you got to get in the car, or you got to change your clothes in the middle of the day if you go at lunch, and the showers and the gym, and you got to change. And I don't like any of that. I'm very shy about my body. So I never did the gym, or if I did it, it was very seldom. And so I needed to exercise. I felt I needed to exercise. I also thought I was healthy eating, but I really wasn't, because we don't remember the things that we eat that aren't healthy. You forget the chips and the dip. And the shake, honestly, was something that was like a bag of vitamins. And so my hair got thicker. Within a month, I was like hooked. So I had this program. It was a 10-week program. So it was on these DVDs, and I didn't lose a lot of weight, but I lost a lot of inches, and I got really strong and healthy. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I want to help other people, and I want to have these groups too. So this transformation was really a health transformation, because I went on to, I did actually become a coach, which in hindsight is crazy, because when my daughter initially asked me about it, she was like, I was like, no, it's a network marketing company. That's so sketchy. I'm not going to do that, because I hate network marketing companies, and I hate the association of, like, they hook you in and then they give you a discount, and it's just kind of a slimy sales tactic. I didn't like it. But so I was like, at first when she approached me about being a coach, I was like, no, I just love these workouts. I just want to do the workouts. I'm fine. And then I was like, you know what? If I'm a coach, first of all, I've always kind of wanted to be a counselor and a coach and an advisor. So that would like get me doing it where I didn't have to go back to school and learn I wouldn't have to get a degree. I could just teach people what I've learned over the last like 2 months that I've been doing this and losing weight. And it didn't feel so overwhelming. It felt like it's just kind of a natural next progression. And I went on because, when you become like the leader of a group like that, you have to show up. You have to be accountable. So that's what I did. So I started inviting people into groups, and I went on to lose. I lost a total of, I think, 17 pounds. I didn't have a ton of weight to lose, but I got in the best shape of my life. And when I turned 55, like right after I turned 55, 3 weeks later, I did the first pull-up of my life. And I had never in my entire life done a pull-up. I mean, 55 years old and doing a pull-up for the first time, it was never even a goal I wanted. I mean, ask me, do I want to do a pull-up? No, because that means I have to be like doing practice, I guess. But I did this program, in one of the workouts, and it had a ton of different workouts. And one of the workouts, which was probably like one I did every 2 weeks. So it wasn't like, if I did it every day, I would have never done it. And one of the exercises was practicing on the pull-up bar. And you could either use a chair or you could use this contraption you could buy, which was kind of like those resistant bands. But those resistant bands that it's kind of, it was, like I said, it's called a chin-up assist. And you stick your foot in the stirrup, and it makes you feel like you can do a pull-up, but you're not using all your weight to pull yourself up. So you kind of, and the day I did the first pull-up, I swear to you, I ran around my house screaming because I wanted to share it with somebody. I called both my daughters. They weren't home. I was like, who can I tell? So that, to me, like being 55 and getting in the best shape of my life, better than I was in college, because when I was in college, I was thinner and weighed less, but I was not healthy. I was like on the, I was on the diets where sauerkraut and coffee, those kind of diets, that's not healthy. So I got in the best shape of my life, and I felt like, just a great inspiration to people my age. And so that was my second transformation, was really, really realizing how important health was, and knowing and realizing that I could do it and that anybody can do it, no matter how old you are, and no matter if you're going through menopause, because I was in the throes of my hot flashes and menopause. So, and then on the backside of that health transformation was also this realization that there is an opportunity to build a business. You might want to, start a business, like a network marketing business, where you have a company behind you, you have products that you love that you can share with people. That's kind of like, I say, a business kind of on training wheels, because it's really scary to go out into the cold, cruel world. And I think a lot of us women, we look at men, and we've I'm from the corporate world, and I see men who, like, I've had men CEOs. I don't think I've ever worked for a company that has had a woman CEO. So role models were not there for women who started their own companies. So I had the kind of the training wheels business, was toe dipping in that realm and doing that as kind of a hobby, because honestly, I was such a workaholic my whole life. I never really had a hobby. And so this was kind of like, I took on this hobby, and it was just, loving health and fitness and sharing it with people. And that was kind of what my hobby was. And then fast forward to just recently was my third, and I will say not final, because I know transformations are super, available to anybody. But and transformations happen continually throughout our life, if we allow them to, and if we are open to them, and if we are open to adventures and to exploring and to being, in a way, fearless, not letting fear kind of keep us in our comfort zone, in our box that we've created, that is comfortable. So this has happened a week ago Thursday. I resigned from my corporate job because last year, about a year ago at this time, I decided the health and fitness thing, I love the health and fitness thing, but I got really tired of helping women lose weight and then seeing them, they would stop doing the groups, and then the accountability wouldn't be there anymore. They'd go back to their old habits, and they gain the weight back. And so that broke my heart to see people that weren't, that were just, they didn't start being the person that they want to be. They were just temporarily in that space. And no matter how good it felt, they went back to the environment that created the original weight problem. They went back to the relationships, the whatever, the mindless eating, the not caring about nutrition anymore. It's just, it was not a total, it was not a total transformation. It was I call it an outside transformation, but the transformation honestly needs to be a complete, total inside outside transformation. So I decided I wanted to do more than health and fitness. I wanted to coach people to a total transformation, and I wanted to help people make significant changes that were lasting in their life. And so I decided a year ago to sign up and with somebody who helped people create businesses, their own businesses, not a business that was a part of a company. Because, you know, when I look at network marketing companies, and I know they have the stigma around them in terms of kind of like sleazy, but I really fell in love with Beachbody and the people I met and the products I still use. I love them. But I look at that, they still take most of your money. I mean, you're getting just a little bit of money unless you create a team who does the selling. And you're basically, if you really want, if you want to be if you want to run a sales team, and that is what you want to do for a job, because that's what you're doing. You're basically, you might as well go work for some corporation that sells stuff. And because that's what it is, network marketing, just different model. The only difference is, you know, you're not doing it through some like corporation that they're selling products through a different channel. They're selling, it's a direct marketing, you know, it's from the consumer is introducing you to the product. So that's, but it's still corporate America. You know, you might get 25% of the product you sell, they still get 75%. And you can sell a ton of product and not make diddly squat. So if you're not, you know, hiring or not hiring, but if you're not bringing on sales, if you're not building a sales organization, you're not going to, you know, you're not going to, I'm making six figures in the corporate world. That would be hard to match in a network marketing company. People do it, but they're really great at sales, and they're really great at networking with people, and they're really great at leading people and growing people as a sales organization. So I was like, I want to do something. I want to have my own company. I want to have 100% control. And I think I can do this. I think I can help people, because the bottom line is that is what it's about. It's about realizing that you can serve in this world in a much deeper way than you can in working for any company. Working through companies, you have to do what the company, you know, it's the company mission, and you can get behind company missions. I'm not saying you can't. I mean, I worked for AOL for 13 years, and that was an amazing mission we had, bringing internet to every home and have it be as valuable as the telephone. That we loved working there. All the employees loved working there, and we had a great leader in Steve Case. So there are companies that have great missions, and the employees and the companies that do well are people, they have a great mission, and they have employees that believe in the mission. So, but I had a mission, and there was no place that had the mission that I wanted to accomplish. So I had to create it myself. And so my mission is to help women midlife who have no passion, and think that their best years are behind them, to help them feel empowered to make the necessary changes in their life that will lead them to a life of fulfillment, to make them feel that their best years are ahead of them, and to make them feel like there is passion, there is purpose. You can get focused. You can change your life and have the best, make the rest your best. And so that's what I did. I created a program in 3 months from the time I made the decision. In 3 months, I launched, and it was just a test. I said, I'm going to test this, see how it goes. And over the past year, I've been building that program, building confidence in the fact that it works, and building a community, very small at this point, but So I have come to the realization in the past year of doing all the work, I have basically gotten what I believe is an MBA of building an online business. And so why, there's no reason to continue in my corporate world anymore, because that's the past. That's part of the past. That the corporate job that I had does no longer aligns with my mission, with my life mission, with my life purpose. And I believe that, for the longest time in my life, I did not know why I was here. I did not know what my purpose was. And I think we all want to know what our purpose is. I think we all want to know, why did God make me? And I'm not a big religious person, because I wasn't raised in a church. My parents, in fact, were atheists. So everything that is spiritual about me is like self-taught and just a collection of things that I've picked up, books I've read, people who have inspired me. But I believe in God. And I believe that we are all made for a reason, and that we are put here on earth to learn a lesson and to take those lessons and teach them to other people. So I would like to ask you if you know what your purpose is. Some people know. They come out of the womb and they know their purpose, or they, at a very young age, identify with something. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's, they have an experience. I recently saw a Super Soul Sunday that Oprah did with a nun. She had at 3 years old, I think it was her father died. And she in that moment when they were doing the visitation, she had this kind of clarity. She wanted to be a nun, and there were nuns in the room, and she was like, I want to be one of them. And so I think a lot of people are lucky in that very young, they do find out what their purpose is or what their passion is. And then they go after it and they do it, and they're great at it. And and they make income at it. And some people don't even, they serve. It's, they're serving, whether it's a great income or a small income. Nuns clearly don't make a ton of money, but it's like within them, they have this thing within them that drives them. And that's what they want to do for the rest of their life. And then here I am, kind of wandering aimlessly through life, doing what I think I should do, because, well, first of all, I need to go to college because that's what everybody does and expects you to do. And then I should be a teacher because that's what my parents were. But then I didn't like that, so I became a waitress. And then I should get married and have kids young because that's what my parents did. So I married somebody, really not even married somebody that I did love him, but I was way too young, and I loved somebody else, honestly, when I married him. But we managed to have a great marriage for 25 years. So celebrate that. So, and raised 2 amazing kids. So no regrets there. So I'm at my 35-minute mark, so I'll try to wrap up. But in that process, you're doing things that you think your brain says logically you have to go to college, you have to get a good job, it's good to make a lot of money. I wanted to be a social worker, but my mom said you will never make money doing that. But yet she was a teacher, and teachers don't make a lot of money doing that. But my parents did well. They both got their master's degrees, so they got, they were the tippy top of their pay scale, and they had great retirement too. So I was very aimless, wandering through life, and ended up falling into, because as a waitress, I had a customer who came in, I was serving him a meal, and he had a recruiting company. And he said, I must have said, I'm looking for a job. And he said, well, come talk to me and my company, and we'll get you all set up. So I did. And I got a job working for a consulting firm in Georgetown in Washington, D.C. And I did that, got pregnant very early in my marriage, and ended up quitting that job and staying home because I didn't want somebody else to take care of my kids. ended up going back into the workforce when I was home for like 3 years. And just doing job after job, learning. I ended up falling into the technology space. Started out as a receptionist, but ended up being like an administrative assistant, and then getting involved in training, and then getting involved in technical writing, and then getting involved in project management. And it was just a series of, moving from job to job and growing and salary higher. And every single time I got promoted, I became less happy. And nobody ever asked me what I wanted to do. That's the funny thing. They were like, hey, I'm promoting you to XYZ. And I'd be like, do I even want to do that? I mean, I said to one boss, I said, I think so-and-so would be better at that. He's like, no, I want you to do it. And so you do what you think you should do. And we were growing so fast. The companies, I was so dedicated to, working hard. And whether it was because I was a high achiever and wanted to be the, A student, or I was trying to put my head in the sand because I wasn't happy and passionate, maybe at home, in my marriage. Who knows what all the reasons for working myself to death, basically. I mean, I would, and when I started, there weren't laptop computers, but laptop computers, once the laptop computer came, I had a laptop computer everywhere I went. And so it's amazing my kids turned out okay, because I did not miss any of their games. They were played sports. I made sure that was a priority. And I always had really great bosses who supported that and supported my role as a mother. So thank goodness. And they did always have a strong role model in somebody who worked hard and, and did a good job, worked hard and did a good job. But I always was missing a passion, a true passion, and a purpose. And so I finally found that. And it took me 60 years to do that. Well, maybe we should say 59, because I think I found it a year ago when I started, when I signed up with the business coach who taught me how to build my business, taught me how to create a program, taught me how to believe that what I had was what people needed, and taught me to believe that it has to come from in here. What you want to do and who you want to serve has to come from your heart. It has to come from something that you believe will make a big impact in the world. And I believe that my journey of transformations from age 47 to age 59 has taken me to this place of purpose. If I had not had these difficult transformations in my life, first having to go through a divorce and start from scratch, then finding a new love, and actually he was my college sweetheart, so he wasn't really a new love. He was kind of an old rekindled love. But going through that difficult time in my life, going through that health transformation, feeling like crap, and then realizing that I had the strength within me to get in the best shape of my life, when I had thought, no, that's not possible. And then to realize I can really be my own boss. I can be a CEO of my own company, and I can make a bigger impact than I've ever even imagined I could make. So these things are what I came to Earth to learn all that, And thank God I was listening, and I started to listen. And then I had a coach who told me to keep listening. The coach that really reinforced, stop listening to this, because this isn't getting you to this. This is not getting you to what your true purpose. Stop working like a dog. Start being quiet. Start meditating. Start journaling. Start listening to that subconscious that is trying to tell you, trying to speak to you, but you're like, no, 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 I'm not going to listen to that because I have to do this, this, and this job makes a lot of money, and this does, and this is the right, I'm in this marriage and I can't get out of it because I made that commitment and blah, blah, blah. All that stuff keeping me. But I did realize that I had to have that journey in order to do what I'm doing now, in order to help in the way that I can help now. And so my transformation is continuing. I like to think I'm an evolving human being, as we all are, but I have 3 significant transformations. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping people to get to the root of what their purpose is, what will fill them up with passion, and not let them get through this life without figuring that out. I became so scared of never finding it out that made me take a step forward and make the changes that I needed to make. In each instance, even though it was October, and I don't know why October is when all this stuff happens, or the first couple of days of November. Fall is my favorite time of year, but I do not like what's next. I do not like the bare trees and the coldness. But anyways, I don't know why it's a pattern in my life, but I do know that transformation in my life has happened, and I'm so appreciative of it because the transformations that I've gone through are my battle scars to help people realize that they can do it. And isn't it interesting too? It's been in love, it's been in health, and it's been in career. And those 3 things are like the kind of the wheel of life. And so I feel like I am now empowered to help others figure it out. And so that is my episode for today. I hope you've enjoyed listening. I hope something has resonated with you. I hope if you're in a place of questioning, I hope that you dig deeper. I will recommend that if you are doing a lot of busy work and it's not getting you where you want to go, it's not helping you figure out what your purpose is or what you're passionate about, just stop, close your computer, put on some quiet music. You can Google quiet music, spa music on YouTube, and then just get a blank notebook and just start writing whatever comes in here, and stuff will flow out of your inner self. Stuff will flow out of your subconscious. Don't do it for 5 minutes. Do it for an hour. And if you do it for an hour and there's no ahas, do it the next day for another hour. And find a great app. I love Calm. I can't recommend it enough. But find a really good meditation app. So search on your phone's app store, find a good meditation. There's a lot of good guided ones, and you can quiet the mind for 10 minutes a day by listening to somebody guide you through a meditation exercise. These 2 things have been really key for me, and really, taking the time to listen and stop the chatter of the logic brain. So thank you. I'm going to check now. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to check the comments to see if anybody has commented or has comments. And also, if you're listening to the replay, don't hesitate to, leave a comment after the fact, because I check these comments every single day. I come in here and check the comments. So I will be coming in and checking on them. Feel free to send me a message. I am running a workshop. So actually the Facebook group is open. The workshop, I'm doing a workshop on how to up-level your life. It's only for women, so sorry for all you men, but it's going to be a 3-part live video series. And it starts on November 7th, but the Facebook group is open. So you can get into the Facebook group right now. If you'd like to join, you can sign up at notyouraveragegramma.com/workshop. And I would love to have you in the workshop. We have over 100 people in there now. So we'll probably have I'm hoping we'll have like 500 people doing the workshop together. And when you have a bunch of people sharing and having aha moments, it's a pretty incredible environment to be in. So notyouraveragegramma/workshop. And then it'll take you, once you sign up, you'll get an email. You'll also get once you sign up, there'll be a thank you page and there'll be a link to join into the Facebook group. You'll also get an email, so make sure to check your email. It has the 5 things to, bullets on what's next. So please join the workshop if any of this episode resonated with you. All right. And I don't see any comments right now, so they'll probably be coming later, but thank you so much and have a great day.